So we are expecting Sean Spicer in the White House briefing room any minute now. In the meantime, the latest Fox News poll numbers are in. And President Trump's approval rating is slightly better now at 45%. His disapproval rating stands at 48%. But when asked how the president was doing in bringing real change to Washington, 50% of voters say he's failing. This is Mr. Trump closes in on 100 days in office. Let's bring in our panel, Democratic strategist and former Missouri State Representative Don Calloway, and former spokesman for the Bush-Cheney campaign and a former spokesman for Speaker John Boehner, Terry Holt. Thanks, both of you, for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Should mention that if Sean Spicer steps up to the mic, we are going to interrupt this segment. But, Terry, let's get your take.
Sure.
Do the American people, in your view, do they have it wrong when it comes to President Trump shaking up Washington? His 50% say that he's doing so.
Well, I think the first 100 days have been about adjustment. Donald Trump has proven to be a strong and determined leader who has a clear, if not moving target of an agenda. But the cogs of Washington progress grind along slowly, and I think this president has had to adjust to the very real challenges of working with the legislative branch of the government. And the American people are settling in now, I think, to a kind of Washington that they've grown accustomed to and been disappointed by, that there hasn't been much progress here, and that even electing a guy who is intent and dead set on changing the way Washington works, even a guy like that, like Donald Trump, it's going to take some time and it's going to take some real effort and collaboration with the Congress.
Well, Don, many Democrats, Senate minority leader Chuck Schumer among them, seem dead set on basically voting against anything that this president wants to do. Would you agree?
No, I don't think that that's the case. But if we look at the first 100 days, we can all agree that it's been objectively very rocky and at best and disastrous at worst. I don't think that Democrats are willing to obstruct at any turn. We all want to see the corporate tax rate come down like the president offered yesterday. It just depends on how you get there. But if you look at these first 100 days, it's been very difficult for the American people to have a lot of confidence in this president. If you look at the violent faceplant of Obamacare, if you look at two of his major immigration initiatives getting slapped down by various circuits of the federal court and judges of various political stripes. And if you look at the ongoing Russia investigations, which have caused massive shakeups, from the Attorney General recusing himself to General Flynn's firing to Congressman Nunes recusing himself from various investigations, it has just been a comedy of errors and mismanagement from this White House, and will have serious ramifications about blocking any real agenda that the president can push from now through the midterms.
As you're speaking, we are watching the president and the First Lady at the White House. They are saying goodbye to the Argentine president, Macri, and his wife. They were here for a little bit of business in the Oval Office, talking about trade and some other things. We played you a snippet of that in the first hour of Happening Now. So as the Argentine president and his wife pull away in the limo, that's what's going on at the White House right now. Terry, what about it? President Trump is described as the least popular president in modern history at the 100-day mark. We are almost there. Is that important at this point in his term? And, you know, is a guy who campaigned to be a change agent and drain the swamp, as he put it, is that important for him to continue to attempt?
Well, I think that statistic tells you that this country remains very divided, and in a hyper-partisan atmosphere, I don't think you're going to look for a lot of people changing their minds immediately about President Trump. I do think that some accomplishments and some, as you said earlier, put some points on the board, that we're going to have to see some real legislative change. The American people are going to have to see jobs created, see taxes lowered. They're going to have to see that America's place in the world has been strengthened. And that takes time. It doesn't happen over a 100-day period. The president has a 4-year term, and I think that he is now recognizing that this complex place we call the D.C. Beltway, that it doesn't move like a corporation or like a business. Right. And that's part of the challenge this president faces.
You don't have two co-equal branches of government when you head the Trump organization. Don, you know, what about infrastructure? Democrats said they would be on board with a big infrastructure spending plan. Is there anything else that you see Democrats saying, yeah, we can work with President Trump on this?
Sure. I think that you see universal agreement from both chambers of the Democratic Party that we would love to see the corporate tax rate come down. The question is, how do you get there? Democrats writ large just can't seem to get on board, and reasonably so, with the plan that Secretary Mnuchin rolled out yesterday, which has absolutely zero offsets and lowers the corporate rate by both taking us to a territorial system as well as the dramatic lowering of the actual rate to 15%. We would love to see the rate lowered because we would love for America to stay competitive with the rest of the industrialized world from a tax standpoint, but Democrats just can't get on board blindly with some plan that doesn't have real mathematics about how to get there. You don't have to take it from me, take it from Mr. Callis, George Callis, Paul Ryan, senior tax counsel, who says that this is a magic unicorn. It's not a real thing. So Democrats can get on board with serious, pragmatic proposals as soon as the White House and Secretary Mnuchin are ready to come up with some.
Well, the wrestling match is underway in Washington. We'll see how it goes. We'll be covering it. Don Calloway from the Democratic side, Terry Holt from the Republican side. Thank you both.